What's up, guys? Got another 20-man boss kill for you today. This time it's the Phagetech Prototypes. This was our first real roadblock in terms of progression. We spent 3 or 4 days just on these guys. Wiped, I don't know, 60 to 80 times. Took us a while. This is a pretty complicated fight. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of room for error, and we pretty much had to get to the point to where we could do this in our sleep before we got a kill. So this is a typical council fight. All of these mobs share health, so the augmenter and the commander and all of these mobs have the same health. So when we kill one, we kill them all. So cleaving here is really, really good. Now we're spreading out the augmenter and the commander in this phase because we're getting them in a position where they're all stacked up later. So as you can see, the stalker tank, Dreddy, is dragging that commander onto the inactive robots. So you see how those little inactive robots in the background right there? That's going to really help us in later phases. Now the augmenter, what he does is he does the borers and he spawns robots. See that robot right there? You got to kill that bot before it gets to the commander, or it will heal them for 8% health. Heal all of them. So if he gets one heal off, at least in this current gear level, it's a wipe. We couldn't have any heals. We had to cleave. This is a DPS race for sure. At least in this current gear level, I'm sure this will be very, very easy when we outgear the fuck out of it, and we can just keep everything spread and whatever, if it heals, whatever. But we're pretty far away from that. So spreading out these two right here. Next phase is going to come up. The Protector comes out. Dreddy picks up the Protector. The Protector-Augmenter combo is pretty easy. The only thing the Protector does is he will teleport and do waves. We actually get pretty lucky this phase because he doesn't do the bores and the waves at the same time. There's the bot. Kill the bot. Obviously, if the bot gets to the other robot, it will heal them. So bots gotta die. 100% bots gotta die. When they come out, CC them and blow them up. That's how you do it. So here's the waves from this other guy. This is pretty easy as long as the bores and the waves don't come out at the same time. If that happens, it gets a little bit tricky, but that didn't happen. I think it might have happened in the second phase, so you guys might still see that. But anyway, we got 20 seconds left on this phase. They teleport. I end up having to eat a bore right there just to pick up aggro on these guys. And all the DPS are going on to the augmenter. Even though they switch places, all the DPS go to the augmenter because the augmenter is the one that spawns the bots, and the bots need to die. Bots have to die no matter what. So 2 seconds left, and they're going to phase. Boom, augmenter despawns. Out comes the fabricator. Now, in the fabricator phase, there's sparks. So the fabricator is going to come up, and you're going to start seeing these little red circles on the ground. So here in 1 second, see those little circles right there? People need to stand in those because it's raid distributed damage. And if no one gets hit by the sparks, it will do a ton of damage to the raid and pretty much one-shot everybody. So once those sparks have been eaten, I drag the mob onto the other mob. Now, the reason I don't want to drag the mob before the sparks is because he does that knockback wave, and if anyone is close to that knockback, it will knock them out of the sparks, and then the sparks will hit the ground and wipe the raid. So you got to be patient with that and pull the mob after the spark phase is done. So now the spark phase is done, it's time to cleave. Cleaving is believing with this fight. You got to get that DPS up there because if you hit that, I think it's, what, 11 minute enrage? I have no idea what it is, but it's very easy to hit the enrage. We've hit it before. We wiped on it like 3 or 4 times before this. So you got to maximize DPS as much as possible. And out comes the commander. So when the commander comes out, I have to intimidate Dreddy's mob. So Dreddy had the fabricator, so I had to intimidate that off of him. And I end up breaking that chain right there with my healer. And now I've got the augmenter. He's got the commander. We're still keeping them stacked because you want to maximize DPS. This phase is pretty much cleave, 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 cleave. There's no real mechanics with the fabricator and the commander. I think sparks come. Do sparks come up? I can't remember. I'm a tank. I don't have to do that shit. But I don't think they do. I think it's just right when the fabricator comes out, it's the sparks. So we got 20 seconds of just pure cleave. Oh yeah, the destructo bots. People got to kill the destructo bots when they come out. So to kill those. Later in the later phases, we let the destructo bots go just to maximize DPS because it doesn't matter. You got to interrupt that force production. That's the one thing I was forgetting. The commander will do a cast called force production. You got to interrupt that, or more bots will come out even faster. 3 seconds left, and I'm getting ready to pick up the augmenter. So boom, mine comes out. Pick up the augmenter. Now this is where things get really, really tricky. So normally in that first phase, we spread the augmenter and the commander because the augmenter does robots, and if the robots get close to the commander, they will heal. What we're doing right now is a little bit insane. We are stacking the augmenter and the commander, so that means the bots have to die instantly. So both of the mobs are in cleave range right now, or at least very close. Sometimes it's hard to keep stuff in stalker cleave range because their telegraphs are smaller, but right now the bosses are really close, so the melee can cleave, and we got to kill the bots instantly. So you'll see a bot will come out, boom, kick, and it's got to die instantly. See how I just died instantly right there? That was pretty good. DPS did a good job right there, especially with the boars coming out at the same time as well. And those green circles right there, people need to stand in those because they will increase your DPS stun. So this phase, this is where it gets crazy because you want to, as a tank, this is the hardest part of the fight. You got to keep the augmenter close enough to cleave, but far enough away to where the bot doesn't instantly heal the commander, while also moving out of stuff, while also having to hold threat. This is why I say it's probably the hardest tanking fight in GA. I was talking to some of the higher end raiding guilds, and they concur, at least the tanks do, that this is probably one of the hardest tanking fights, just because there's so much shit you have to worry about as a tank. So most of the GA fights pretty easy as a tank, but this one, man, this one is a completely different beast. So you got 29 seconds left before the protector comes out, so this pretty much just DPS, waves will come out. Oh, there's translocate. That's, ooh, you gotta be quick on that translocate too. So now that they switch spots, all the DPS go back onto the augmenter because, again, it's got the bots. Waves, as a tank, it's pretty easy to avoid the waves. You just shoot right back in under the boss. And come the boars and the waves. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. Those weren't completely timed out in a horrible way, but that's the only really tricky part about this, about those two, those particular two bot combos, is if waves and boars come out at the same time. And a translocate. We've had that happen before as well. So now that the fabricator, I think, yeah, fabricator just came up. So there's the sparks right there. Now that all the sparks are down, I'm going to drag my protector onto the fabricator. Avoid the waves. Ba-boom, ba-boom. And the protector is slowly coming over, and it's time to cleave. Cleaving is believing. Boom, ba-boom, boom, boom. And this is pretty much, this is easy. Yeah, at this point, it's easy. Once you've gotten these particular two bot combos to this part, you don't really have to worry about anything. I guess the Destructo bots, that's it. That's all you really got to worry about. And we ended up letting one go. I think that one over to the right there, I think we just let that go. I think. I can't really see right here, but here's where I mess up. So here I thought the augmenter was coming up, and in fact it was the protector. I suck. I should have taunted right here. And I see I almost fucked this. I almost fucked up everybody here. I end up taunting this. I should have intimidated. What's wrong with me? So I realized that I fucked up here. So I end up having to take a plasma blast and like barely just tag the fabricator with it. Yeah, see, Dreddy's tanking both of the mobs right here. This is really bad. I should have. So what I should have done right there is right before the commander came up, I should have taunted. I should have intimidated to steal Dreddy's threat. But I thought the augmenter was coming up. So yeah. But anyway, Dreddy ends up dying because I suck. I should have taunted. I should have intimidated right here too, because Varkings ended up dying there at the end as well because he was second on threat. Yeah. What happened right there is it was really bad. I thought the augmenter phase was coming up when in fact it was the commander phase, but luckily we had it so low that it didn't matter. But yep, I fucked us a little bit anyway. We still ended up getting the kill. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, no tank gear dropped, but I think you guys get the gist of the idea. Just don't make the same mistake I did. I just didn't realize what phase was coming up. I thought it was augmenter when it was commander. I didn't intimidate, and that caused the other tank to get both the mobs, and he survived it for a pretty decent amount of time, but then it's just too much for too long, and he ended up dying. So we got the kill, whatever. I could have played that a lot better though. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Leap, bum rush, boom, back on the boss. And this particular boss kill, we had a little bit of inflated DPS right before we pulled the boss for the last time and got the kill. Everybody was pretty solid on the mechanics, and for the most part, people weren't messing up, so we decided